I thought I'd record a little snippet from our morning practice today we had in class for our sunrise flow. This morning was all about kind of approaching our practice with this sense of lightness and joy and curiosity about our bodies and what our bodies want to tell us, what your heart wants to tell you. Not paying overly much attention to what's going on in your mind, but really being curious about the quieter parts of us that we don't maybe pay as much attention to as we could do. There's a lot of balancing in this little sequence, and it's really nice, and it's great to use balancing as this way to practice a sense of lightness, really, and not taking things too seriously, because as we know, balancing doesn't always or often doesn't go the way that we plan. And it can be nice to just laugh our way through it instead of harden, tighten, tense up, really try and get the pose because we're on a mission to get somewhere. So let's start. Let's give it a go. I'm going to take a seat and just move through a little, maybe an inquiry practice is what you might call it, just to connect back into ourselves. You might like to sit on a cushion or a pillow. I'm going to sit on my blanket. Just helps raise my hips slightly so I can more naturally feel this lightness in my spine. It helps my skeleton to sort of sit atop itself, so I don't have to really push to find this upright seat. I can naturally just settle into it. My shoulders relaxed away from my ears, my knees heavy, my hips grounded. So if it feels comfortable to you, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, but you can carry on looking at the screen if you like, or out the window, gently at the floor in front of you. And just take a moment to settle into the space that you're in, wherever that might be. And then from there, can you just come into yourself, settle into your body, land in your body. And notice how your body is resting on the earth. Allow the earth to support you through this entire next practice. Just be aware she's there, offering support. And as you start to settle into yourself, just notice what arises for you. What's it like to be in your body today? Do you feel tight? Maybe you're feeling quite open. Is there a lot of energy there? Is it feeling heavy? What words would you use to describe it? And it doesn't matter what you notice or what arises, or if you perceive it to be not very good or you'd like something different. Try to kind of relax that side of things and just notice what is and accept it. And know that's where you're starting from today. And that things shift and change. So we check in sort of halfway or at the end of practice. You might be feeling totally different. You might not. We'll see. Okay. And then from here, feel into your heart space and ask yourself or ask your heart, how does it feel today? What's going on in there? Sometimes it helps to place a hand over the center of your chest, your heart space, to help connect to that area. So you could try that if you wanted. Is there a touch of sadness? Maybe there's lightness. There might be deep sentiments of care for someone in your life. What's in your heart today? And again, the same as with your body. Whatever arises is fine. Even if it's fear or constriction. Just notice. Sometimes when we bring our attention to things or places in our body or emotions or sensations, it gives them a chance to shift and release. Sometimes all they need to do is to be noticed in order to give them a chance to release and soften. Okay, then when you're ready, open your eyes if they're not already open. And I'll invite you just to change the cross of your legs. It might feel a little weird at first, but let's give our other side a bit of a turn. And from here, place your hands on your knees, still settled within yourself and connected to the earth beneath you. And we're just going to roll on our sit bones. So I'm going to start in small circles. Doesn't matter which way you go initially. We're going to swap sides in a moment. And I'm going to let these circles get wider and wider. Take your time. You might choose to incorporate the breath. So you could, for example, inhale as you reach back, exhale as you come forward. Or another pattern that works for you. And then if you like, you could even incorporate here some sort of cat-cow movement. So as I come forward, I'm going to reach my chest through my shoulders, arch my back. And as I come back, I'm going to round, spread my shoulder blades. So this flexion through the spine as we move here. Noticing your sit bones on the mat as you move. I've got a very clicky body today. I've got hips and back clicking here. Okay, and let's change direction. You might start wide again, work your way in, or you could start small, work your way wide. It doesn't matter. All right, let's come back to center. Let's change the cross of our legs one last time. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling. And then exhale over to the right. I'm not mirroring you. And then we're going to inhale up to center. Exhale over to the left. And again, you might move in your own time. Side to side with the breath. Keep sitting your opposite hip down. So as my right arm reaches over, my right hip is heavy. That's the same hip, isn't it? Not the opposite one. We're going to change this movement in a moment. As I lean over to my left, my right arm is above me. I'm going to sweep forward and draw a semicircle on the floor with my right hand. So as I lean forward, my fingertips touch the ground. I draw this semicircle with my right hand. I then follow that circle with my left, and I open up towards the ceiling. And then I'll round back down, sweep a half circle with my left, follow it with my right, and open up to the ceiling. So just move here from side to side, opening the chest up, drawing big shapes with the shoulders. We'll go for one more each side. And then come back down, pause halfway through your semicircle, and find a cross-legged forward fold. Just let your spine release here. Maybe your forearms reach the ground. If you're higher up, don't worry, fingertips is fine. And let's just connect to our breath. Can you find a nice, steady, even rhythm with the breath here? You might even start to count the breath. You could inhale for the count of 5 and exhale for the count of 5. Or choose any number that works for you. Yours might be 3 or 4. Okay. On your next inhalation, let yourself rise up. I'm going to remove my prop from underneath me. And we're going to head on to some cat-cows, and from there, downward facing dog. So this is where my socks come off, because otherwise I slip on my mat. Okay. On your hands and knees, most of us are familiar with this move. We're gonna, similar to how we were doing it when we were cross-legged, inhale, drop through the shoulders, and exhale, round. And as I round, I'm really activating through my hands, spreading my shoulder blades. Inhaling down, exhaling to round. You don't have to breathe with my cues. You could breathe in any way that feels comfortable to your body. Okay, in a moment, we're going to head into a downward facing dog. So I'm going to reach my hands slightly forward of my shoulders, tuck my toes, lift my hips up towards the ceiling. And then I might walk my dog here. So I might pad my feet, bending one knee and then the other. Could even sway your hip side to side. Just let yourself feel loose. Open up. Don't worry about this perfect form. Move in a way that feels good for your body. From our downward facing dog, I'm going to look towards the top of my mat and I'm going to walk my feet up behind my wrists to find a forward fold. So I'm going to really bend my knees here to soften through my back body. I'm not too worried about stretching the backs of my legs at the moment. I more want to find this open, this release through my back body. Let your head hang heavy. And even here, you might sort of bring in some fluid movement. So you could sway right to left, opening up more through your spine. If your back feels a little twingy, you could always go for a less intense fold and move higher up here. So again, you choose. All right. From here, we'll all bring our hands to our shins and find a halfway lift. So draw the crown of your head forward and draw your tailbone away from you. Can you find this length through your back body? Okay, exhale, release. And then push through the feet, roll on up, head and neck, last thing to come up. Sweep your arms with you. Exhale your hands through your heart center, and then just open your palms out in front of you. And find mountain pose. I'm just going to turn to face you. Bring your awareness to the palms of your hands. See what you notice there. For me, I can feel a gentle warmth, a tingling, this sense of energy. Is that the same for you? Notice the connection to the earth beneath you through your feet. Put a gentle softness in your knees. We don't want to lock out here. We're soft, we're supple, we're open, we're receiving. You might even spread your toes, lift your toes up, spread them out and plant them down on the mat. Kind of feel into that connection with the earth. Feel some stability with your toes. Great. And then from here, we're going to move a bit like sea kelp, kelpie movements. We were all laughing in class this morning. You're going to sway left to right. And just let your whole body sway with you. Moving your neck side to side. I might widen my stance slightly so I can sway even sort of bigger sways, wider sways. So for me, I shared in class, this movement feels really vulnerable. I don't know why. I think it's like I feel a little embarrassed. It's like awkward dancing. So I'm going to relax into that sense of approaching the class with like curiosity, the pose with curiosity, this lightness, this like, that's okay, I'm feeling uncomfortable right now, and I'm going to carry on moving. Move through it, keep releasing. Nervous giggle. All right, from here, settle back into some stillness, but keep this sense of fluidity with you. And we'll just move through a few half salutations to kind of keep warming up, to keep connecting to our breath, and then we're going to incorporate some balance. Okay, so when you're ready, let's inhale the arms up. You could sweep them or just rise them. Exhale, fold forward. Half lift. Fold again. And I use my feet, I push through my feet, push into the earth to rise up. Sweep the arms with me. And then bring my hands through my center. This sense of kind of like grounding as I come down. And let's move again, inhaling up. And exhale to fold. Fold again. Push through the feet, rise on up. Hands through my center. Last time. Let you do it in your own time. Okay, open your palms up to face me again. Just take a moment to check in with your body. How are you feeling in your body now compared to the start of practice? Has it shifted? Has it changed at all? If it has, in what way? Get curious. Okay, are you ready for some balancing now? We are going to start at the tops of our mats. And it sometimes can sometimes help to find a steady point in front of you. So preferably one that's not moving, so not me. And then from here, shift your weight into your right foot. And we're going to start to lift our left foot up in front of us. And can you activate the sole of your left foot, almost like you're standing on a stool? From here, I'm going to find warrior one, but I'm going to do it really slowly with control, keeping this left foot lifted for as long as possible. So I'm going to tip forward, reach my foot back, extend it long, bend my front knee, and then find the mat with my back toes. In warrior one, we tend to plant the heel down at that 45-degree angle. So see if that feels comfy for you. And then I'm wiggling my front foot forward because I've noticed my stance was a little short. So adjust in any way that feels good for you. Front knee is bent, back leg is straight, foot is at the 45-degree angle. My hips, if possible, are rotating forward towards the front of my mat. If this is just not comfortable in your body, there are a couple of options. You could widen the stance of your feet. So if your feet were on train tracks, you might widen the tracks. Or what you can do is just lift that back heel off the mat and find a crescent lunge instead. This is totally fine. So wherever you're working, find your warrior one through your feet. I find this pose quite awkward in my body. And inhale, reach your arms up. If your shoulders feel quite tight, you could open up into a wider V. I have quite tight shoulders. And I'm trying to keep connection to the mat, if I've gone for this option with my feet, through the outer edge of my back foot. So I'm not rolling in. You say that because sometimes we want to roll in with the back foot. Really activate it, spread it on the mat. Keep that connection to the mat. Okay. From our warrior one, we are going to find a sort of a halfway house of a warrior three. So it's a gentle lift. So I'd like you to notice in your warrior one, this sense of drawing your crown up, encouraging an openness through the chest, less a dumping in the lower back, more the sense of drawing open and reaching up. We are all now going to spin our back heel off the mat, and you're going to see whether you can tip your weight onto your front foot. So I'm going to launch off my back foot, reach up, keep my left foot, which is my back foot, off the mat, gentle bend in my front knee, carry on with that bend. I'm going to activate this left glute so I can point my toes, lift my foot up behind me. Whew, I'm getting warm. And then from here, draw that knee forward again. Release the arms and relax. Well done. Okay, and then wiggle out. So that feels really strong for me in these back muscles just here. Notice how it feels for you. And then we're gonna change sides. You stay where you are. I'm just changing direction so I can carry on facing you. Take a moment to settle in again. We're gonna shift our weight into our left foot, reach our right knee up towards the ceiling. I'm pushing through the sole of my right foot. I'm also active through my left leg here. I'm going to inhale my arms up, step back, and find my version of a warrior one. Take your time to settle into the pose again. Find that connection to the mat through your foot. Open through the chest and shoulders. Connect to your breath. Then from here, twist your back heel up. Find a lunge for a moment. And we're going to tip into a very upright warrior three. So I'm going to launch off my back foot. Point my back toes, squeeze my right glute. Reach my arms up towards the ceiling. Feel all my back muscles switch on. Whoop, lose my balance. And then draw, once I found my balance again, that back knee up. Just to check I'm still balancing, and then release. And wiggle out. Well done. So we're going to move through that same little sequence one more time. There's an option to add on, or you can just stay as we were. So you decide. I'm just going to take off my jumper. One sec. Okay. When you're ready, coming back to the top of your mat, settle in, find your mountain, connect to the earth. Find the spot you're going to look at in front of you. Shifting my weight to my right foot, lifting my left knee up, reaching my arms up, stepping my left foot back, finding warrior one. Wobble, wobble. I'm going to adjust till I find a version that feels comfy for my body. Okay, from here, tipping up, sort of tall warrior three. Heel comes up, I'm shifting up, finding this upright warrior three. The add-on now is to bend your front knee, lower slightly, and lift back up. And to do that 2 more times. So lowering, lifting, lowering, and lifting. Draw that front leg forward, and if you want to add on even more, cross your left ankle on top of your right knee. Bring your hands to prayer. You can totally hold on to something to support you here. Sit your hips back. Oops. Wobbling again. As if into a chair. Great. Keep that connection to the floor through your foot. Steady breath in. And as you exhale, release. And wiggle out. So you can feel quite intense. But we're doing great. Remember that sense of lightness. Just giggling our way through it. Try not to get frustrated if you're not getting it. Yeah, because otherwise it's just not really fun anymore. Okay, weight into your left foot this time. Right knee comes up. I'm active, I'm engaged. Inhale my arms up. Step back, warrior one. Adjust. Active through my feet, drawing up. From here, twist your back heel off the mat, launch up, tall warrior three. From here, optional add-on, Bend that left knee, and straighten, and again. All those stabilizer muscles are in action right now. Bring that right foot forward, cross your ankle over your knee, sit back. There we go again. I'll meet you there in a minute. I'm gonna have to hold on. Okay. We got there in the end. And release. Well done for holding it a lot longer than I did. And wiggle. Perfect. Okay, from here, let's just come on down to the mat. So I'm gonna sit onto my sit bones, cross my legs again, and just take a moment to kind of settle into my breath, or find my breath, settle into my body. Often in balancing poses, we can become excited and I lose that connection to my breath, which is totally fine. And now it could be time to come back down, come back to center. I'm going to let my shoulders soften. And then as I come more and more into myself again, I might move into child's pose or puppy if that feels better on your knees. So from my hands and knees, I'm going to bring my feet together and sit my hips back onto my heels. Let my forehead come down towards the mat. If that doesn't feel comfortable in your knees because it's too much flexion, you can keep your hips above your knees and come into a puppy pose variation instead. So it might look like this. And there's also even the option to widen your knees and find a wide-legged child's pose. Sometimes that's nice because it creates more space for the chest because I'm not squishing against my legs. And once more, I'm going to invite you to notice how you feel in your body in this moment in time. And how does your heart feel? Mine feels a little brighter for all the giggling. How does your mind feel? So for me, all the focus on balancing has meant I haven't really been able to focus too much on my habitual worries or concerns. Was that the same for you? If not, do I need to make it even harder or more challenging next time? And if you're feeling tense, can you invite a sense of softness, a sense of lightness, of warmth? You could even imagine the sun shining down on your back. Can you find that steady, even rhythm with your breath again? And you might choose to stay in your child's pose for the next few minutes, continuing to center and ground, to notice that connection with the earth once more. And then whenever you're ready, end your practice by sort of thanking your body for all the efforts and its challenges today, and perhaps making an effort to really find a softness and listen to your heart. Okay, thanks for that mini movement break and a taster of what we get up to on Tuesday mornings. Bye for now.